But you're always writing new stuff. You always have new material.
I don't write.
You don't write?
I don't. I just do it on stage. It doesn't work for me. And I'm lazy.
You're always coming up with new ideas, though, on stage and incorporating them in. And
yeah, just
what's the process? You say it on stage?
I riff.
Okay.
I riff. So recently I've been talking about this. I was on YouTube, you know, because I don't read, right? So I'm on YouTube watching videos. And I saw this woman who taught a gorilla how to do sign language. And she's having all these conversations with her, and never once did she ask the gorilla how it felt about living in a zoo. Do you want to get the fuck out of here? None of that. So that's sort of where the bit ended up going. And then all this stuff about these feelings about animals that I have versus people. I'm not a big fan of the zoo. I don't like the circus. You know, when you see the grizzly bear riding on the bicycle, all you're thinking is like, what did they have to do to that thing? I mean, it could run 35 miles an hour, and now you got on this little ass bike. Like, how bad did they slap this thing around? You know they did something horrible. You know it. So
when you say you don't write, but you must like make notes to yourself if you think of something.
Oh no, if I think of something, I just grab whatever I can write on, and I'll just write down. I'll just write gorilla, or I'll write bear/circus, and then I do that, and then I just go up. And I just tell the story.
Yeah.
So I just act like, you know, like you're just going to go meet your friends at a bar. You just start shooting the shit with them. So it stops being like, hey, have you seen these gorillas doing sign language? Well, what you know, what's up with that?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you feel like you're trapped in your act. So then basically, if you're more going up, you have the idea. And if you just have the idea, then you don't necessarily have this bit thing that people can look at you going like, this guy's in his act right now. He's probably thinking about doing his taxes, and he's just like reciting this thing. But then after you tell the story long enough, that does happen. But then I sort of came up with these different games that I can play with each joke, so I can keep myself out of that robot mode.
Okay. Like what how would you play a game with yourself?
One of the things I learned one weekend when I first started out, and I was middling in, well, not first started out, probably 8 years in, and I middled for Dave Attell at the Tempe Improv, the old Tempe Improv, and I watched him, and he just had, you know, the greatest material I'd ever seen, but every night he was tagging the jokes, you know, as great as they were, he kept tagging the jokes, and he told me, you know, a joke's never done. I remember him telling me that, so I just sort of invented like, inspired by him, I just started doing this thing where when I felt like I don't feel funny, I feel trapped in my act and blah, 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 whatever joke I was doing, I would just improv in it. And maybe there's a part where I acted something out, I would act it out even bigger and dumber. And even if it bombed, it just was like a bucket of water. It would be like, oh, Jesus, I just bombed on that joke in, you know, Tempe, Arizona. All of a sudden I would be in Tempe. I wouldn't be standing on stage doing my act going, what the hell, where am I right now? So just shit like that.